Here we are then, waiting for the green lights to get qualifying underway for the British Grand Prix. Many of the drivers have commented on the challenge posed by the high-speed direction changes around this circuit, but you still need to be quick in a straight line. Is that a fair layman's appraisal?
Drivers are going to need a nicely balanced car to be fast here. They'll need to get the most out of the medium and high-speed corners, which will push them to run more downforce. But in turn, this slows the car down on the straights. It's a tricky balancing act.
Okay, Jeff here. You're causing unnecessary wear to your transmission. Try to take it easy, or we risk losing it.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, De Vries and Max.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
The pain of parting is nothing to the joy of meeting again. And how joyous indeed it is to be back at Silverstone once more for the British Grand Prix. The queues to get in this morning extended miles back down the A43, such as the enthusiasm for Formula One in this country. With good opportunities to overtake at the end of the Wellington and Hangar Straights, there's a lot of potential for close action around the 3.6 miles of the Silverstone circuit. With 18 corners and average lap speeds of around 145 miles per hour, it's also one of the longest and quickest circuits on the calendar. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about De Vries. They're still relatively new to a sport which does have a high learning curve and, of course, little tolerance for mistakes.
And this is something that has ended the career of many a young driver, as that leap up to Formula One proves to be too much. But luckily in this case, I'd say they're doing a good, solid job, and the risk the team took in signing them is definitely starting to pay off.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and De Vries completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Alexander Albon and Vettel, Perez, Norris, Magnussen and Roman Grosjean, Sainz, Hülkenberg, Kimi Raikkonen and Gasly, Kvyat, Giovinazzi, George Russell and Daniel Ricciardo. Kubica and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of the lap. Keep an eye on the lights. The start sequence will begin as soon as the grid has formed. Be ready with the clutch. Pushing too hard, it's causing your gearbox to take increased wear. reference box this lap. The gap behind us is 2.7 seconds. Some information on Norris. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down. The car behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap form. The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Target. Drop down to mix too soon. Great work. Well done. We're really happy with the podium here.
The Mercedes team pulled out a fantastic performance today. They should be proud. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. So let's review the updated driver's standings. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, Who do you pick?
Well, Lance Stroll would be my pick. He managed to keep a cool head today whilst pushing through the field.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. Everything went your way today. It looked like you had a really good It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? So talk us through what happened between you and your rival today. Appreciate your time.
Great work this weekend. It was fantastic to see you up on that podium.